Thanks for everybody joining in today for our Drive More Visitors and Bookings with Social and that social media. RV Park social media tips is what we're talking about today. So those of you who are here now, thanks for coming. And if you're watching on the replay, thanks for tuning in as well. As always, love to have any questions you might have, whether they're here now in the chat or in the comments later. Please drop them and we can go ahead and move right along. All right, so a little bit about us as we get started. We do partner with RV Parks, Resorts, and Campgrounds, RVIC member, proud to be doing that. We talk about the M5 a good bit, and which is our RV Park centric marketing system. And we have these 4 areas that we talk about as well: reputation, resell, reach, and retarget. Today's social media is a little bit more on the reach side of things. Framework is what we just talked about, and a little bit about myself. I grew up in West Virginia. It was a working sheep farm and a campground, and I'm sure everybody else has that same story. I studied comms at the world's most exciting university, Liberty. That's what they claimed. Our football coach just left for Auburn. That's exciting. That means we had a pretty good season. I married my college sweetheart, Jenny, in October of 2000. So 22 years for us. Got 4 amazing kiddos. Elena K will be turning 18 next week, a week from today. And then I have 3 more right after that. 2 years apart, all of them. We have a lot of fun. Almost all of them are teenagers. We do have the one doggo, Holly. And I've been helping companies with their online presence for more than 20 years. A little bit about me right there. And this agency thing's been going on since 2014 as well. All right, so today we are looking at what we'll lead with. There's 3 areas that we will cover: social media, and that can help drive more bookings for you. The actionable information you can leave with today. So we always like to have stuff that you can walk away with and make a difference. And so if you do have questions, like I said, I'm glad to answer those. All right, here's some stats to just start the conversation off. So if you haven't realized, social media is kind of a big deal. I don't know about the rest of you all. It wasn't a thing at all growing up, but now we have more than 3.5 billion active users. And when it comes to professional users, 90% of marketers are saying that it's increased exposure of their business, and 75% say it increases their traffic. 71% people that have had a good social media experience are likely to recommend. So that's a healthy chunk of folks that will run across your profiles. And then 74% share video content from brands on social media. So that should be a little bit hint about how you can be using social. All right, so it is an opportunity to socialize when we're not gathered around the campfire here like these guys. We can do it online and create real human connections. We'll see that as a reoccurring theme, is what we're talking about. Also, it can allow us to become a thought leader. So even though that might not be a huge thing to think about as a park, it's still good. Everyone's got great experiences and expertise they can share, and you can do that for your park as well. All right, beyond that, we're talking about being top of mind with our guests. Obviously, the being active, being there for them to find us, even though they've stayed with us, we would like for them to come back. So that's a great way to do that. It is a key part of managing a reputation. If you've ever been on one of our other webinars or and seen a replay of that, a reputation keeps coming up, and it is beyond a review only. We want our online presence to always be establishing our reputation and maintaining it and improving it. And so social media is one part of that. And so you can also learn a good deal about your guests through real-time data. So where they interact, there's different things that you can track and look at in real time to understand how they are operating online. And also keep an eye on your peers and your competition so you can learn from that. If you're not already doing those type of things, definitely want to implement those as quickly as possible. All right, we always have a junky little RV that we want to fix. He's sad, he's out of commission. Don't let that be your social media presence. So many know that it's a good idea, but not everybody really knows how to leverage it successfully. So here's some, common things that we can encounter when we're talking about these things. Unrealistic expectations. Okay, that's across the board for all of life, right? Same thing goes for social media. It's not an overnight success, and I'm sure many would realize that already. Keep that in mind. Trying to be on every network. Now we will touch on several of them here. That does not mean that we recommend that you do all of them, because you need to find the one that's right for you, or the 2 or 3 maybe. So being obsessed with yourself, this is another life lesson. Let's not always be about ourselves. And so the same thing goes for how we run our social. And afraid to spend a little. You don't have to empty the bank per se to get some success on that, but just be aware that that can also be helpful. Using the wrong tools, that's always a problem, no matter what you're doing. And once again, these are all life lessons. So don't use the wrong tools, and that can be very helpful. Ignoring your guests. Once again, there's some reoccurring themes that we'll try to hammer home today. Hopefully those will be things that you'll take away. When you're out there on social and they're communicating with you one way or the other, please don't ignore them. All right, so we got some basics we're going to cover right here. This strategy for social media, it includes everything you want to do and achieve on it. So that should be pretty straightforward to understand that. And so for small businesses and for parks and the like, some of the things you want to do is build your audience, build long-term relationships, and of course, increase your revenue. That can all be supported by your strategy. And as you kind of alluded to, it's not something that happens overnight. It does require consistent and strategic approach. And that's a little bit of what we're going to talk about today as we continue on. So why is it important? You're here, and you're watching this either now or later. And so you have some idea about that. Of course, one of the things that it does is increases your brand awareness. It can drive traffic to your website, help you promote your content. And then, like we said before, understand your guests better and help them find your part potentially. And then once again, the interaction with the guest is big, and keep you a step ahead of your competitors. There you go. Some important points about that. So here's the 3 main things we're going to address today. We'll call it the setup portion, our content that we're doing, and then lastly, how we engage through social. All right, so let's get right into setting up. This person is happy that she set up her social media the correct way. All right, before you begin, so this is before you set up, sort of, and this is kind of mentality and some preparation. Identify your audience, know who it is that you want to interact with. So I know there's different parks and the resorts kind of go across the board. Some are family oriented, some are 55 plus, and there's many different options out there. So not everybody is going to be the same. So that's important when you are starting your strategy for social media. We're talking about this once again. This is going to be how one of our points that we hammer home: show your human side, seek relationships and not followers. So that kind of goes right in line with that being human. It's not just about the numbers. We want to make sure we are connecting on a real way. Create an editorial calendar. So this is great as maybe you're redoing what you've done, or maybe you never had a plan and you want to get a better one. This is a great way to do that. Take some of the things we talked about today and then make a real plan on how you're going to use this content and share it over the long haul. Automate the right way. So at one point in social media, there were some things that we had like automated responses in certain, like if someone were to direct message you, some of those things don't fit what people are looking for. So those are maybe not the best things to do, but scheduling with the editorial calendar and those kind of things, that's a definite great way to automate. And of course, this is great across all different parts of business, focus on helping overselling. Same thing for your online social media. And optimize for engagement. So everything you're doing, you want to make sure that it has the ability for you to engage easily throughout your profiles. Of course, this is another recurring theme that we'll talk about is staying active. It's not a set it and forget it type of, marketing activity. All right, so we're going to talk about Facebook for business and some things that you want to optimize. Make sure these are done on your profile, on your page. So your page details, there's a few key things that you want to make sure are done. So there's a custom URL. Make sure that your brand, your park, you're utilizing that so that's easier to remember potentially if someone just off the top of their head wants to try to find it. It's just great branding to do that. This is another reoccurring theme we're going to have. If you haven't done both of these things with the profile and cover photos, nearly every social media platform will have those. You want to optimize those to reflect who you are, and the cover photo is a great way to highlight certain things about your park and have that changed out occasionally. Make sure that description is complete and as thorough as it can be. And don't forget the website. If you have it, if you don't have a website, shame on you. It's a big problem. But anyway, make sure that it's also added on all of these for that matter. And then select the right page CTA. So CTA call to action. There's the button that you can activate and make sure that that is set up correctly. So there's different things you can have that say. And maybe one of them that might be useful for you is book now, something along those lines. Add page tabs to promote your park features. So these are more like custom parts of your Facebook page that you can highlight different things. And then you can also do seasonal services and things of that nature. Enable your reviews. Everybody knows we use this day in and day out for our own lives, right? We're always looking at what other people are saying. If you have it turned off for whatever reason, that doesn't inspire a lot of trust. So make sure that's on. And once again, update and engage. This is one of those points we're going to keep talking about. Make sure that if you're going to have it, use it. And all right, Instagram, which is a Facebook or a Meta property. Once again, the profile photo that reflects your park. Make sure that the category that you have is the correct one. There's some different things out there. There may not be. I have to look. I didn't even get a chance to look that up if there's one specifically like RV park or resort or things like that. But get as close as you can, whatever is your particular business. Make sure you got that contact info filled in correctly and the action buttons that you'll be able to do as a business profile, as opposed to you might have set up something as a individual. Definitely recommend that it would be switched over to a business account as opposed to individual or personal. And then you can use these target keywords in your description. So like you said before, you know your audience and maybe the types of things that they would be looking for, include those in the description. And then a CTA, once again, that call to action before the link to your website or latest offer. So a lot of people will use something like Linktree to send people to multiple calls to action. We ourselves do that type of thing, but if you wanted to be a little bit more focused on one thing, maybe you just want to talk about people being able to book, or maybe there's a special offer video or something that you're doing for the time being. Call that out and then have that link. And another neat thing you can do to bring a little bit of life and flavor into your profile is line breaks, emojis, custom fonts that you can put in that bio. Okay. Let's see, we're going to talk about some LinkedIn for business. So once again, we reiterate that you don't necessarily, and we don't necessarily recommend that you do all of these, but the people that are on LinkedIn oftentimes need to take a vacation. They just don't work all the time. And so it's not a bad idea to potentially use LinkedIn in a business page. There's the profile cover images. Once again, you can optimize those on that page. The About Us section, make that compelling and use those relevant keywords. There's basically anything that you put on the internet that has some level of content or copy, more than likely is going to be able to be searched by search engines on some level or within the platform itself. So that's why we bring out make sure it's, the keywords are there. How are people going to find you that are looking for what you have to offer? And then you have the ability to post like you would the other social media. You can do that regularly. That's once again, if you're on there, use it. So there's some ways you can grow your audience. There's more than what we have listed here, but you have so many invites every month, so you can just invite as many of your connections as possible. And then there's the ability to target different things, and this is not a paid feature within that, the region or the industry when you do a post. So look into that as well to grow your audience. Career page. I think this is obviously LinkedIn started as mainly what people used it for was resumes and things of that nature. And of course, finding good people is important for any business. So build out a page that maybe can help you find those folks to help run your operation. And you can also build service pages to talk about, like we've said, for the other profiles that you would have, the different features and services that your individual park would have. Another fun thing that you can do with LinkedIn is host virtual events or just it's basically kind of like a live video. So potentially you could do something like a park tour, or you can just think of a lot of different ways you could use that as a different way to connect with people and show what you have at your location. All right, Twitter. Now, Twitter's been in the news for some reason recently. There's a lot going on over there. I think it's higher usage than ever, but so if you want to use it, definitely, it's still an active profile and our platform. Craft your bio with care, kind of what we've been saying before. There's keywords, there's different things that you can be found for. The profile cover images, again, every single one of these are important to optimize. And if you want to create the same type of one across all of your, if you have 2 or 3 of these that you're using primarily, I recommend you can always customize it to the actual platform. But like I said, if you have something that you really want to push across and, all of your marketing, you can make sure that cover image reflects that. If you're doing like a special event or something of that nature. Then you want to point people to a specific page on your website. For instance, Book Now, it's, you have the link in your bio. That's also a good thing to do. Of course, as being a location, adding that to your profile is helpful in order for people to find you. As a business, I think that's a great thing to do. A lot of people are using it as individuals, so that's not something they care about. But as a business, it's great. And if you get everything set up and no one can see it because their tweets are protected. That's not a good thing. So make sure that's not the case as a business, and engage on that direct message. If we talked about it already, when you have guests talking with you, you want to make sure that you're getting those and responding to them. And then you can do this not only on Twitter, but pretty much every other one has this capability to pin the latest, or not the latest, but whatever post you want to. So if you have something, maybe you're in the news or at a special event, whatever the case may be, that you want people to see first when they come to your profile, that's a great feature as well. What about TikTok? So definitely more and more businesses have been using this over the last couple of years or so. And so take a look at that, see if that matches who you are and who you want to reach. Now, it's not just young people or young folk. I know there's plenty of people in my generation and older that do a lot of scrolling on TikTok, but make sure that you're creating unique and relevant content if you're going to go down this road, because of, I mean, it should be that way across the board for any of them, but it's a little bit different than the ones that have been around for a while. And you want to avoid being super formal on TikTok. And it's all about kind of like the fun, laid back platform. And then once again, it's another way to show your human side, and not being super uptight or whatever. Joining a challenge. There's a lot of TikTok challenges that have gone across the internet these last few years. So that's a way to just kind of get in on something that might be viral and of that nature. When you are creating posts, you can do this for a lot of different ones now. Like more and more, like TikTok kind of led the way on, the vertical video, short content. It started out with what was it? Vine kind of really started all that, right? And TikTok took over that, and more of these, whether it's reels or shorts or all these different things, that everyone's kind of mimicking these kind of things. And so adding the music and the effects add to what you're able to do there. And then there's some publishing features that you want to leverage. There's several things that you can do when you post. Of course, there's descriptions and hashtags and things like that. Make sure that when you're doing those, you're using those to the best of your ability. And then we want to monitor analytics. So the reality is you want to be able to find a time that you think is going to get the most views. Everyone that deals with TikTok is concerned about the algorithm. There's algorithms for all, the social media, right? I've seen jokes and different memes and stuff about trying to figure out how a particular TikTok, will go off and then the other ones won't or whatever. But you have analytics once you set up this stuff that you can look and kind of begin to learn about what's best for your park if you're going to use that. User generated content is great. You can do this across all platforms, of course. Is maybe say hashtag Acme RV Park or whatever, and if someone shares that, then you can use that to repost on your profile as well. You can create your own challenge. So use your creativity, come up with your own TikTok challenge and run with it. We're all in this industry that is about having fun with vacation and all that. So capitalize on that. And influencers, we've seen a lot of jokes about being an influencer, and but this is definitely a place where you might be able to collaborate with one to help expand your brand on the next level. There's plenty of people that are into outdoors or vacation, or even if you want to get down to, you can find people that are specific to the RV life, all that. I'm sure there's plenty of those that could potentially partner with. So look at teaming up with them to increase your reach. All right, we're all looking at our content now. And so we're going to look at some content strategy. You want to set the goals for your new strategy and research your target audience. Once again, that's another thing we've talked about a few times. And your platforms, we've already talked about that. Tracking. So whatever you are able to track, you can grow. So make sure that's set up when you're doing a content campaign and strategy. Then what we've been talking about on some level is create that engaging content. We'll get more into that. And then plan that content on your editorial calendar. And then because you've set up tracking, you can measure and improve. So these are some initial steps to be aware of, and types of social media content. So we're going to go over these. You should touch on some of these, or you should touch on one of these at least, if not more than one, when you're doing an educational. You can do how-tos or lists. Inspirational is always great. Quotes and stories that people connect with. Being interactive with quiz and polls, that can be a great thing. The connecting type, and now BTS, we're not talking about the Korean boy band. We're talking about behind the scenes content. People love that kind of stuff. Connecting by thanking guests, and many more things like that. Want it to be entertaining, so memes, everybody loves that. Giveaways that you could potentially do. Newsworthy, maybe something that's some research about what's going on in the industry, or just industry news in general. And of course, promotional, when you're going to actually put out something that people can get a coupon, or maybe it's a freebie, or other types of things to, this is like a post, but more of an ads, so to speak. All right, some more content examples. So these are specific for what anybody can do here. Promote your blog posts. Obviously, if you're creating that, make sure you're sharing those. Testimonials, make sure you're getting those and repurpose them as posts on whatever platform you want to use. Maybe you have a poll about your favorite vacation spot, something like that. You can do a live video of like a holiday party, or I know there's all kinds of events that we're always doing, and that's a great time. You don't have to stream everything or whatnot, but maybe just get people the ability to see what's going on your property. Go out, get some videos of local attractions, things that, why are people coming into the area? Let them know about that. It doesn't have to be super production, high value. You can, take your nice HD camera on your cell phone, shoot some short videos and share those. An infographic, so creating something like what to bring in your RV when you go on a road trip, or whatever else that you might think of. Create your own memes. Memes are there's plenty of things that meme creators out there that you can use, but these are things that you can do as well. And of course, quotes, you can do those. Can be about just about anything, but live camping, RVs, vacation, or whatever fits your brand apart. All right, so here's some things to avoid for content. Quantity over quality. So just trying to I know I need to do this, so we're just spend a little bit more time figuring out what it is and make it good. Only landscape images and videos. So it's funny, a few years ago, it was like everybody was mad if you shot a video vertical or something. Now everyone's used to holding their phone vertically. So, incorporate those as well. We mentioned this briefly earlier, being obsessed with yourself. So only sharing your own content is a no-no. And not getting stuff from your users is a mistake as well. Not using video content, and then not targeting specific audience for your content. So you're just kind of like shotgunning it. It's not a good idea either. And then not boosting the right post. So what's the right post to boost? Reality is when you do something organically and it already catches on for itself and people share it and like it, that's the time to boost a post. So something that's already performing well, then throw a few dollars behind it because it's already got momentum. Best practices. do not post personal content. Hopefully everyone knows that, but we want to reiterate that. Stay away from controversial topics. There's a lot of controversies that we could potentially talk about. Don't do it. That's all. No one's going to win in that. And of course, keep sensitive info confidential. So be careful about what's going out there. And that could, potentially be, sharing information or taking pictures of, for instance, children and all that. You got to make sure that it's okay, right, before you do that if someone's at your park. So avoid posting too often. So there is a happy medium out there, right? Going too much, going too little. You need to figure out what's right for you. There's not a, one size fits all for that. Good grammar and spelling. That's another one of the life lessons. Just do that. And it's better than winging it. Always be professional. That doesn't mean you have to be stuffy and all that, but you still have fun with it, obviously. Of course, we've said it once, say it again. Engage with your followers, please. And we'll throw this in here with some advertising tips. It's a little bit outside of just normal social media, but I wanted to throw in a few of these. Lean on your organic data. So when you do if you decide to do some advertising, you're going to build that off of what you've learned about your regular posts. Once again, user-generated content is great to utilize in your advertising campaigns. Always be aware of what this is going to be like on mobile and how that's going to, the reality is most people are going to be on mobile for when they see an ad or a post. So always be aware of that. A/B test, that means you're going to, when you do these ads, you have a couple different versions at the very least to kind of see which one is performing better. So do that as well. And use multiple campaign types. So every platform is going to have different kinds of campaigns. Test them out, find out what's working for you. And you pair with search. So what's going on with your search results and how those are performing. And what you do with your ads should also just be pairing up together well with how you are doing on your organic search results and things of that nature. And don't let your creative get stale. So you might have had an ad that you've run for a while. It's had the same photos. It's easy enough on some of these to have just a recurring thing. It goes on forever and ever. But we've probably all seen this where we log on to certain places and we see the same ad, the same picture. People get super tired of that. Don't keep the same photos all the time. All right, our last section is going to be engaging. We've already mentioned it as a very important part of the whole social media reality. So what is it exactly? It's just a measure of how people are interacting with your accounts and content. So that's likes and favorites, comments, DMs, replies, shares and retweets or reshares, saves, clicks, mentions, all those things are engagement that we all would love to have when we create social media posts. Here's some benefits. It's going to increase communication and interaction. It does have a limitless market potential. What's that? It's the ability to go viral with something, and it boosts your website traffic once people are engaging. Increase your referral rate. So that's that whole share. Someone sharing things. It's essentially a referral of some sort. Of course, it's going to allow, and the end result is to obtain leads or bookings. So we want that. Increasing your social media engagement, know where to find engagement metrics. So familiarize yourself with the platform of your choice. Make sure you know where to get the data and be aware of that and use it. Set goals and define your metrics. What are you trying to accomplish? And be aware of that as well. Understand your platform itself. That kind of goes back to what I just said about finding metrics and all that. Just be as familiar with that as possible. And again, knowing your audience is very important. And then understanding the components of an engaging post. So, things like open-ended questions and asking different things like that are engaging posts instead of just, posting and forgetting it. Create shareable content. And know when to post on social media, which we talked about briefly as well, when specifically TikTok, but it kind of goes across the board. So, and the previous things we just talked about are going to help you understand when that is for your particular part and execute your strategy. All right. Here's some tools for engagement for social media. Canva. I think most people may be aware of this. We are, an agency that has all the big tools like Adobe and all that, but we still use Canva, and I know many people do. It's just great for being able to create like social media type stuff, photographics, and even video. We also have another one, Animoto, that does videos. It's another option to be able to create great social media videos. Grammarly, if you have problems, like we said earlier, make sure your grammar and spelling is good. That can help with that, and also does beyond just that, help you create good copy for your posts. Unbox Social, if you want to get deeper into your analytics, and you can check those folks out. Scheduling, we actually have a part of our tool allows you to do this. So M5 Social Media Planner is one of those things that can do that. And GIF, and that's an engagement tool right there. Who doesn't love a good GIF? So there you go. There's some tools. All right. So that kind of wraps up what we're going to talk about today. We talked about setup, content, and engagement. And then we want to see if there's questions. I know we have a couple chats here. We can. Regarding post boost, is it really worth paying to boost our page's large following? I already wonder if it's worth it. So it definitely depends on that, right? And like I said before, know what to post. If something is not working, if you post something no one ever engages with it, why boost that? And it doesn't, you set with anything on across the board with all of these platforms, you can kind of spend as little or as much as you want. It's totally up to you. Very flexible on all that. So it can really, and then we've seen it kind of, like you said, once you find one that's done well organically, we have seen how that really can, quote unquote, go viral. There's viral, like, go across all the world, or there's viral, like go across your region or something like that. That's also valuable to you. Asking for slides on the print, we can definitely share those with you. And we obviously this is recorded and we put these up on video, but be glad to share them with you as well. So just we have your contact information, I believe, so I can definitely get those over to you. All right, any more questions? You can drop those in. You can always connect with us. We're glad to do that. We're talking about engaging. We love to engage with you on our platforms that we're on. Find us on these. And next time we're going to talk about how to get more guests with online advertising. We touched on it briefly today, but we will go into further depth on what that looks like on Facebook and Instagram. There's a lot of crossover there, obviously, with them all being Meta. And so we'll go into a little bit farther on that. So definitely like to have you join us again. Tell your friends and family all about it. All right, you can keep the conversation going. If you have further questions that maybe would be better on a one-on-one, you can go to book.restrelaxroi.com, and we'd love to chat with you. We want to engage like that as well. All right, that's going to be it for today. We really appreciate those that were able to join us, and for those that are watching this at a later time, thanks for tuning in. Hope everyone had, this is the last day of November, so we just had Thanksgiving. Thankful for you all, thankful for the ability to be able to jump on here and do this and help people. And running into the holiday Christmas season, Hanukkah, all kinds of things are going on. So you guys enjoy all of that. And until next time, happy trails.